telling you to take cover
right now.
We do have a tornado on the ground.
This is a tornado. Yeah, this is a very dangerous situation.
Tonight, we reflect on the events of May 22nd, 2011.
All these schools were in a line, basically, you know. Unfortunately, nobody thought about that. I think it was close to 4,000 or a little over 4,000 of our students had lost their school.
Schools destroyed, loved ones lost.
When he passed, they put his name up on the wall for students and teachers that had passed.
A hospital destroyed by the tornado, and a hospital that was a beacon in the night.
I remember being up on the tower and looking out over the entire city of Joplin, and it was completely black. But yet, here Freeman was lit.
And now, a special presentation. Stronger Together, reflecting on May 22nd, 2011. And here are your hosts, Andy Searcy, Jessica Shear, and Mike Olmstead.
Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us as we reflect back on the Joplin tornado and the events that happened 10 years ago today.
We all remember where we were the night that the tragic storm hit the area. I myself was on my way back from Kansas City, where I had been that weekend, and the tornado actually touched down very close to my home. And of course, I was worried about my home. I was worried about my dog and very worried about my coworkers as well.
Guys, I had just lived in the area for about 7 weeks at the time. I was actually back home in Indiana getting the rest of my stuff before I moved back here permanently. I received a text message that Sunday evening from my son saying a tornado had hit Home Depot. I was obviously concerned, but had no idea the scope of what had just happened.
Now, each of us has a story, and that's what this show is all about. We'll begin tonight in our very own newsroom close to home with what was happening there. Now, we do want to warn our viewers that some of the stories you see tonight can be difficult. So please prepare yourself for what could cause some emotional triggers. Take cover now. Those are the 3 words that rang out across the city of Joplin 10 years ago that night. Deja Brown has the story.
Take shelter now. It looks like this is a pretty powerful tornado.
I'll never forget that night. When I see the video, there's this sinking feeling.
I am telling you to take cover right now. We do have a tornado on the ground.
This is a tornado. Yeah, this is a very dangerous situation. My God, that's how close I came. We cannot stress this enough. If you were in Joplin, please take cover. I didn't realize it was a tornado. I've seen plenty of videos of tornado, you know, having gone to school, having worked in the business for as long as I had seen videos of tornadoes, but it was one of those moments where things were out of context. You know, it's easy to go back now and look and say, yes, that's a tornado that was on the ground, but at the moment, I think it caught us all by surprise. There was that what in the world is this that we're looking at thing where, you know, you don't expect the tower cam to just come up and there's the tornado. No, it is certainly going off. And we transitioned into that, okay, now we get everybody to take it seriously. We get people to take cover, to take shelter. I think we all kind of defaulted to, it is our job to save as many people as we can. I wanted to make sure that I was there doing that for whoever needed it done for them at the moment.
And at that moment, someone he knew well needed it. KSN producer, Marion Kelly.
And Caitlin and Jeremiah were saying, take cover now.
Right now.
Kelly says it was the urgency in their voices that made her get into that crawl space.
I could feel the air being sucked out of that crawl space. And I thought, this is how I'm going to die. And I was, frankly, a little surprised when it got over with and I was still alive.
Do you credit people like Jeremiah and the people that you watched
Absolutely.
on that TV with
In
saving
fact,
your life?
I told Jeremiah and I told Caitlin, that I said, you all saved my life. I would not have taken cover if you hadn't used those exact words.
Personally, I think we did our jobs. I think we did what we were put here to do.
But the effects of that day, May 22nd, 2011, still linger for the both of them.
I can't look at it because it's never not fresh.
You know, my wife gets on to me. Because every year around the tornado, we talk about it. And she'll tell me, you did everything you could, you did everything you could. And I'll tell her I can come up with 160 reasons we didn't. When I was still predicting the weather, I felt like I had to put a little more effort into every forecast. I had to try harder to be more on point with it because of that.
As the sirens rang out that fateful night, KODE's Bubba Evansko was on air at a local radio station. Now, the events that followed that night have stuck with him throughout the last 10 years. He shares his story with us tonight.
Well, good Thursday morning to you. Hey, it's Bubba, everybody. Can you believe it?
It's the voice so many of us in the four-state area know all too well.
Hey, we'll have a little fun this morning. Why not?
His bubbly, infectious personality streams across our radio airwaves. You can't help but smile.
I've had a good time having some fun.
But a decade ago, the storm that changed so many lives changed his too.
It's been 10 years, and I can hear every sound. I can smell every smell. I remember everything about it, like it happened yesterday.
Bubba Evansko was on air the moment storms started brewing to the west of Joplin.
I did notice there was some activity in Kansas, so I said it may be heading this way. Just keep your ear on the radio. We'll keep you up to date as we go.
When a call into the radio station from the Jasper County and Joplin emergency manager dropped, uneasiness set in.
We didn't know exactly what was going on. We're trying to follow local TV. We're taking phone call reports as much as possible, looking out the window like I think, unfortunately, a lot of people were doing to see what was happening.
Bubba was supposed to be off work just 20 minutes after the tornado hit the city of Joplin. He, of course, stayed hours later.
At that point, we shifted from telling people there was a warning to let's break it down. We're going to go ahead and go on all stations at once. We're going to simulcast everywhere. And then it went to just taking damage reports as quick as we could from everyone.
A co-worker who headed home to check on his belongings phoned in too.
He called on his way home to let us know his apartment building was gone. That's when we realized that it was going to be something that we'd never seen before.
Bubba continued working nearly non-stop, worried for his own family's safety.
I was worried about them. I'm worried about my community. But I have a responsibility to continue to tell people what's going on. So you can't leave. You can't walk away.
Even 10 years later, the images he saw as he made his way back to the comfort of his home in Webb City haunt him.
It's human nature to wonder if I would have sounded the alarm a little earlier, if there would have been any more lives saved.
Now he relates the seriousness of severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings to his listeners more than ever before.
As much as I feel guilty, as much as I wonder if I could have done more, I also thank God every day that he blessed me with the opportunity to serve my community when they needed me the most.
We all know the saying, it takes a village, but after the tornado, it took a lot more than just a village. It took thousands of volunteers.
It certainly did, Mike, and it also took extraordinary leadership in the area as well, not only to get the volunteers going, but to get the needs of the residents met as well, and it even took some elephants as well, I hear.
Yeah, and remember the Extreme Home Makeover Project? We'll check in with that project and see how one of the deserving homeowners is doing today, 10 years later. Stay with us.